Religion. We've got some bad news for the godless. Religion is inescapable. There's never been a human society without some form of worship. And don't point to communist societies like the Soviet Union. They worship blue jeans. Of course, beatniks, peaceniks, and no-goodniks question why we need religion. Imagine they croon, "There's no countries. It isn't hard, it's true. Nothing to fight or kill for, and no religion, too." You may find that idea appealing because it rhymes. But so does this. God said to Noah, "There's going to be a floody. Get those children out of the muddy." Mine rhymes 4 times. The children mentioned in that Bible verse didn't think they needed religion either, and look what happened to them. Drowny. Bottom line, religion is the cornerstone of civilization. Without it, there would be no laws, no morality, no social structure, and no guidelines for furnishing our tabernacles. We would exist in a state of valueless depravity like they do in Holland. If you're listening to this in Dutch, please change the name Holland to Belgium. Here's the good news. Religion exists. So mankind can benefit from its numerous gifts. Among them, law. The 10 Commandments are the basis of our entire system of justice. Without them, we wouldn't have laws, and without laws, there'd be chaos. Those 2 tablets give you everything you need to run an orderly society. Lying, stealing, murdering, adultery, idol worship, and coveting are out. Parent honoring and Sabbath observance are in. By the way, if you're listening to this on your religion's Sabbath, you better have a non-believer there pressing play and stop for you, because when it comes to the TCs, I'm an originalist. That means if a neighbor takes so much as a covetous glimpse at my wife, I'm looking for my lucky stoning hat. Religion lays out clear definitions of good and evil, distinguishing good deeds, or solids in biblical Hebrew, from sins. Think about it. Without this guidance and reward-punishment system, how would we know that it's actually good to give charity to beggars? Plus, without the concept of right and wrong, we'd have no cowboy movies or cop shows, because there'd be no good guys and bad guys. Just guys. And, folks, forget about karaoke. I mean, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right is my go-to crowd pleaser. But who wants to hear, if loving you is okay, then okay? Religion gives communities reasons to come together and build bonds through shared participation in rituals. Admit it. People would never speak to anyone outside their immediate families if not for mandatory pilgrimages to holy rocks or watching virgins' hearts get carved out atop their ziggurats. I believe it was the tiger philosopher Hobbes who described human life as solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Religion allows us to ignore all that by praying. When we appeal to our deities with a slaughtered ewe or prostration, or in the case of Hare Krishnas, an airport conga line, we exert some control over our existence and are filled with hope that God may improve it. Otherwise, we'd just be chanting our deepest desires into a silent, indifferent void. How depressing would that be? Folks, life is chaotic and unpredictable. If a butterfly flaps its wings in the Amazon, it could cause people at the other end of the globe to watch a Discovery Channel special on butterflies. And what's on next? A show about tornadoes. Who made such a harrowing program schedule full of such seemingly random destruction? It was God's will. Religion forces every individual to take responsibility, specifically, take it away from yourself and give it to God. If we had to be accountable for every one of our actions, we'd be crippled with indecision. But with religion pointing the way, we can feel confident in our choice to pick at our children's elementary school when we find out the art teacher is gay. By the way, quick hello to Mr. Jelinek. In my religion, if you're good, you don't die. It's my favorite gift of religion because it's the most practical. Here's an example. I got that CBS Civil War series on DVDs last Christmas, but I haven't had time to watch it. But thanks to my religion, after I depart my earthly body, I'll have eternity to watch those DVDs with Abraham Lincoln. Okay, he can tell me if Ken Burns got it right. So now that you understand religion's gifts, you can understand why America chose to be a godly nation. And by godly, I mean Jesus-ly. Make no mistake, America is a Christian nation. The bedrock of our theo-democracy is our Judeo-Christian values. That term, by the way, is a bit of a misnomer. It implies that Christianity and Judaism are equal, which makes about as much sense as comparing Jesus to Moses. One of them could walk on water, The other one had departed. Which one seems more Christian to you? Now, the secular progressives out there are going to say, hold on, Colbert. Wasn't America founded on the ideas of Enlightenment thinkers like Hume and Paine? Common misconception. Who landed at Plymouth Rock? Pilgrims. And the only reason they got on the Mayflower was to flee religious persecution. That means they had a religion, Christianity, and thank God they did. If it wasn't for Jesus' message of love in their hearts, do you think they would have taught the Indians that maize is really called corn? Now, since the Pilgrims were victims of persecution, some assumed that they were tolerant. Well, that's just liberal propaganda. Sure, they were against persecution of pilgrims. But after they changed their name to Puritans in what I believe was a copyright dispute, they were more than happy to drown what lesbians now call Wiccans. We hear a lot about how the founders created a so-called wall of separation between church and state. Well, the myth of such a wall was exacerbated by our Constitution's confusingly worded First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Many point to these words as somehow prohibiting the establishment of Christianity as our national religion. But if the founders were so anti-Christian, how come the Constitution never mentions evolution? Checkmate. And even if I'm wrong, just because Congress shall make no law doesn't mean that we can't establish a religion. It just means we'll have to do it without Congress. An executive order, perhaps? So, to sum up, America is a Christian nation, and as the old Negro spiritual says, this train is bound for glory, this train. Folks, America is riding the Jesus train.